Hi there, Oz Konar here. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 3 passive income opportunities that you can get started in 2022 and build it up to over $10,000 per month in passive income. If you're interested in what those 3 opportunities are, stay tuned and let's get started. All right, before we get started, I want to give you a couple of disclaimers so we're fair and square from the beginning. A lot of times when you watch somebody talk about different income streams, different passive income ideas, they're giving you examples from like a dozen different industries. The problem with that is the presenter usually doesn't have any experience in any one of them, maybe experience 1 or 2 of them. The remaining of them is presented there because they're popular and that's what people want to hear. While we're not going to do that in this channel, I'm going to focus on one industry, and within that industry, a couple of key products that I have personally used and I've seen and helped other people use it to build true passive income, true residual income. So that might sound boring to you, but the other option of listening to somebody talk about all these hot opportunities keeps you distracted, because the goal of building a passive income business or creating avenues of passive income is to build wealth. You want your passive income to surpass your earned income, right? It's going to be very difficult to do if one day you're focusing on a product that's related to gardening, the other day you're trying to build a passive income on e-commerce, the other day you're getting in love with a multi-level marketing scheme where you supposedly build passive income, because the man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. So it doesn't work that way, right? That's why it's a great idea to focus on one industry, because there's riches in niches, and within that industry, find product that can provide you passive income options. So that's why today we're going to talk about 3 truly passive income generating resources, products, lending options in the alternative lending industry, and I'll give you as much details as you need to know about them so you can start implementing them right away. So, putting that disclaimer to the side, if you're trying to find out a video that talks about all these different passive income ideas, you're not going to find them here. It's going to be very specific because that's going to serve you the best long term. So there are different passive income strategies to build it. One is 100% passive, right? So you don't have to do anything and money rolls in, which is the one that people are most interested in, which is the one that works least likely. Usually the passive income works this way. You work hard for a while and you acquire assets, or you invest in products, and those assets, products, businesses pay you over the life of the accounts that you acquired, meaning that there is no money without any effort. So if you're looking for a get-rich scheme, you're probably not looking for it, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. Most likely, it doesn't really work that way. Most passive income options require you to either put in a little work over time or put a lot of work up front and build it and set it and forget it. So we'll talk about the differences of that. I'll give you one example. Rental properties, right? So rental properties will require ongoing maintenance and management, and it comes from someone who owns rental properties. But over time, you minimize your involvement. You can actually, you talk to your property managers for like 2-3 hours a month and still collect the rents and do the accounting work on the properties, which is a 80% passive income, but it's not 100%, because you're not going to just not touch anything forever and let the money roll in. And also it requires the initial investment to acquire those properties. Whereas there are options that you can work really hard towards in the beginning, acquire a certain number of clients, but those clients keep paying you back. So that's the second category, is the one that we're going to be talking about. In alternative lending industry, there are 3 lending products that, if you choose to work with them, will allow you to build lifetime residuals and passive income. Let's go through them. Number 1 is credit card processing. That's my background. I've done it for 5 years or so. credit card processing. You probably have seen people offering it to other businesses. You probably know people who own businesses right now, and they might not really be aware of the options when it comes to credit card processing. So one option that's gotten really popular recently, but it's not at the point of saturating the market, is cash discount program. What that means is normally when you offer your credit card to purchase any goods or services from a small business, they swipe your card or you swipe it yourself, but that small business pays a percentage of those sales back to credit card company, back to Visa, MasterCard. Usually it's 3 to 4%. So if you think of a business that generates $100,000 a month from credit card sales, they're usually paying 4% of that back to Visa, MasterCard, their credit card processing company. That's $4,000. But if you help them get set up with the cash discount program, they can almost eliminate all of those fees. Like 99% of that can be eliminated. And what happens is when you work with enough number of customers who take advantage of the credit card processing program, you get paid residuals over time. So I've done it, and within 12 months, I set up, well, back then when I had a corporate job, I set up 200 businesses that pay me residuals, repeat income every single month. The other beauty of this is you're able to sell your book of business back to the processing company. So I exited out twice. How did I do that? Well, I put in 12 months of work to build my portfolio, but then it paid me thousands of dollars, $6,000, $7,000 a month. Even if I didn't talk to those clients, even if I didn't any management work, the support team, customer service handle that. So that's a great product to get started with. But one thing that has changed is when I was doing it, there was no cash discount program, right? There was no massive benefit like it provides right now of eliminating most of the charges. So it makes it super attractive. If I were to do that today, I would have probably built a portfolio of 50 customers that would have still paid me a lot more than what I used to get paid. So it's an amazing product. If you're interested in knowing more about how that works, because in this video, I'm going to just talk to you about the opportunity. I'm not going to go through details of how it works. Just comment below and I'll do another video talking about that. That's the number one option, offering credit card processing. How do you do that? You reach out to the processors and ask them to sign you up as an ISO, individual sales organization. It's just a couple of pieces of paperwork. Then you use online marketing tools. So you don't need to, like I used to do, you don't need to go out there and prospect and find businesses and close them. You can literally use Facebook or LinkedIn and help businesses and just pass it off to your processing company. It's actually one of the products that we train our members on in the Blueprint community, and have your partners take it over. While you do that, and even if you're setting up 10 merchants, like, on average, people know about 300 people, and I'm sure some of those people are business owners or people they want to start business. So you can set them up with credit card processing and take advantage of that. That's number one. The number two and number three are the products that you probably know, you're least likely to know about. Number two is Invoice Factoring. The name might sound complicated, but it's a very simple process. Invoice Factoring is literally, like the name suggests, factoring of the invoices. So when you think of a small business, let's say they do work for the government. They build a fence around a school, and that fencing costs $100,000. So school owes this business $100,000, right? And they write a check to the small business who built the fence and tell them, hey, here's your $100,000, but it is net 90. What that means is that, well, here's a check, but you're going to be able to cash it only after 90 days. That's just how local governments work. That's how big corporations sometimes work. They pay you in net 30, net 60, net 90, and sometimes in net 120 terms. Well, that's good for the schools and the governments and big corporations, but the small company who built the fence around the school, they have to wait 90 days to get their money. They pay for the supplies, they have payroll that it needs to be paid out to the employees. It's a long time to wait. Actually, I've known companies who have over $1 million on invoices that they're waiting to cash out, which is a problem for a small business, right? Because you need to cash flow immediately. You're probably doing payroll on a weekly basis. So what happens is you work with an invoice factoring company. You tell this company that, hey, I have an outstanding balance of $1 million that I'll need to cash out soon, but I need the money right now. Can I sell these invoices to you at a cost? And this invoice factoring company buys those invoices at the value of 90+%, sometimes 95, 96%, and they pay you right away. And you make a deal with this invoice factoring company, and because the small business who's doing this financing job, they'll probably do a ton of those jobs throughout the year. That means they're going to get a ton of these invoices that are due in net 30, net 60, net 90, net 120, and they keep passing it off to this invoice factoring company. Invoice factoring company funds the small business. They keep a very little percentage themselves because obviously they got to make money too, right? So usually they charge anywhere from 2% to 4%. It's a very minimal charge. So we're not talking about hard money. So you're not putting a small business in a difficult situation. Actually, they're benefiting massively out of this. But the beauty of this, as the broker, this is an ongoing relationship. Okay, the retention rate of invoice factoring clients are massive. So 85% of the time, they stay with that invoice factoring company, okay? And that means that when you set up one client with invoice factoring company, that means that client is good for a long time. And if you have 4 or 5 of these relationships that are working with the invoice factoring company, you can easily build yourself an income source of $10,000 to $15,000 within 2 to 3 months. I've seen this happen so many times, and that income is not really going anywhere at all. That's fully passive. You don't have anything to do with that relationship. You set it and forget it. That's 100% passive income that I bet most people do not even know about yet. So you might be a little confused about the product. You might say, oh gosh, well, I mean, I need to know a lot about this product. I don't even know what you're talking about here. Like, I need to find a business that does invoices, then they have the invoices, and how does that even work? Well, that's the beautiful part of focusing on a niche, right? So if you're looking for like an easy way that can be done by so many other people, that's just so easy to do it, then your potential income is minimal. Then you focus on things that pays you like a $10, $20, $50 passive income every single month. But if you choose to specialize in a niche environment, honestly, for you to learn how the invoice factoring works is going to be a matter of spending 20 to 25 hours. If you want to know how to do that, I have a video that's recorded on how the skill of how to learn things in 20 hours versus spending thousands of hours. If you just focus on that, it's just a matter of just focusing on this business 2 to 3 months, making the connections with the invoice factoring companies. You don't need to know all the intricacies of how invoice factoring works. You can just do an introduction, and they can take over the process. While they're working on the client, you are building your residual income. So that's the number 2 product in alternative lending industry that will allow you to build wealth. Even if you have a job right now and you're building this on the side, that's the perfect opportunity for you to get started. And this is another product that we cover extensively in our network in Business Lending Blueprint. So number 3 option. Number 3 is a truly revolutionary product for businesses, business line of credit. Many businesses would love to have a line of credit available to them that they can draw from, they can draw upon, but it is very unlikely for them to have it if they have a relatively large business, and unless they've been in business for a few years, because usually line of credits are offered through the banks, right? So you're this manufacturing business, let's say, or you're a restaurant. After being in business for 5 years, the bank might offer you a line of credit for $50,000. So that doesn't mean they're just giving you $50,000. That means that money is available on the side for you to draw from. You're already approved, right? So you can draw that $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 out of that. You can pay that back, and that cycle goes on and on and on. So that's within the banking system. So the business line of credit in alternative lending industry is like a hybrid product. It's an alternative lending option, but some of them are connected to the banking industry. The beauty of this product is you can get a business approved, let's say up to $250,000 on the business line of credit. And every time they draw from that as a broker, you get paid. And businesses are smart. They really would not want to let go of a business line of credit because it's going to help them. It's a way better option than getting loans, way better option than getting cash advances. They're going to pay really high fees. Usually the percentage is really low for them to pull on whenever they do a draw on. And also payments are super flexible. A lot of times the only payment that could be due is the interest only. So if they drew $50,000 from that account, they're not going to take $50,000 and split it into 12 payments. Usually there's a period that they only pay the interest on that money, which could technically be $50, $100, $200, very minimal for a business. But every time that happens, as a broker, you get paid. Imagine you set up 10 of these relationships with the providers of business line of credit and combine it with the number 2 option and number 1 option. Now in alternative lending industry, in this one niche, you're utilizing 3 of the prominent products, which in a market, they're not saturated at all because most people will not even know about this and they're not going to look further into them. You can easily get your portfolio up to $25,000 to $30,000 per month in passive income in the next 3 to 6 months. It's very, very doable. All you need to do is dig deeper into these lending options. Then you'll be able to free yourself from your job, right? And also build a true passive income. What usually happens is people who have a job and they're feeling miserable towards whatever it is they're working on. They feel bad that they're making money, like it's a paycheck. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They live in places they don't want to live. They drive cars they don't want to drive, and they look for options to build passive income, which is great. But what happens is if you find a true source of passive income, you fall in love with the passive income option. Then it becomes a passive income option and also becomes an option for you to build your active earned income. That's when things go crazy. That's when you go from making 20, 30K per month on passive income. But if you're constantly working on building on that portfolio, that's when you build wealth. You're building your own book of business. Let's say 3 years down the road, you need the money and you want to sell it back to the lenders that you work with. You can potentially clear out a few $1,000,000 from the work you've done for the past 3 years. So that's what I meant in the beginning, that don't fall for the trap of random passive income ideas. If you're really serious about building it, focus on a niche industry, and within that niche industry, look for specialized knowledge. That's why doctors who specialize in certain parts of medicine usually makes 4 times more than your general practitioner, right? That works in every single industry, but that doctor took time to specialize in that one thing that builds income. Obviously, we're in a more fortunate place. Doctors cannot really build passive income off of the surgeries that they do, but the beauty of the financial services industry, you can actually do that. So again, I warned you from the beginning that this is not going to be just random options on passive income. Hopefully you liked it. If you did like it, please comment below and subscribe to the channel and let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you want to know more about any specific products that I talked about. See you on the next video. Take care.